Hello guys, my name is Gavin, and this will be a simple video on how to use motion blur in the game engine, or at least from the 2D perspective. So I'm just getting started. To start off, let's double click everything and hit X and delete, and then hit 7 to go in the top view and do spacebar and then add a plane like this. Hit S, X, and let's say 20. Actually, SX 20. There we go. And SY, and then let's say 5. Alright, what we're going to do now is I'm going to change the color of this plane to, let's say, let's do green. Hit 7 to go in the top view again. And what we're going to do now is do spacebar and then add a cube like this. I'm going to drag this cube up. I'm going to rename this cube, or not rename it, but add a new material to our cube. This will be red like this. And let's go from defaults to game logic and go from Blender render to Blender game. With this cube in the middle selected, I'm just going to have a simple back and forth movements. So let's have A for left key. Minimize this. Let's add a motion actuator. It will be negative 0.2 on the y-axis. Connect it like this. Let's do a keyboard sensor for right. So right will be the name of our keyboard sensor. We'll put D key for right. And add a motion actuator like this. And let's put 0.2. Okay. Once we have that, we actually want to make it so that the movement of this character will blur it. So let's add an always sensor. Hit those first 3 dots. Add a Python controller. Connect it like this. And let's do templates Python and then game logic simple. Delete the portion that I've highlighted, and hit delete, and hit control and scroll up on your mouse to make your text larger. And if we want to blur the motion of our character, let's import the render. So let's do from BGE, import render. And since we just want the character's motion to blur, let's do render.enable motion blur. This, and I'm going to put 0.8. The motion blur goes from a scale of 0 to 1.0, so 0.8 will blur it pretty good. I'll just call this motion blur.py and add this right here, minimize it. So we can see that if I hit P to play now, it's going to blur the motion left and right of our cube like this. But what's nice though is if I do spacebar and add a cube again, and let's say there's like a few cubes around the environments, their motion will not blur because they're not moving. It'll just be the motion of the cube that is currently moving at the time. Alright guys, that's how you make motion blur in Blender. Found this useful.